Yo, what is up, guys? Joker bringing you another video for the 3.26 Mercenaries of Trathis League, going over my league starter. Real quick, before I go any further, I want to say that this is not a build guide. This is what I am league starting. This may feel incredibly crappy. It may be hard to get some of these pieces of gear on day one. Maybe I don't really see it, but I just wanted to throw it out there that this is not a build guide. It's just my league starter. Now, with that out of the way, let's go over the changes to the champion, right? So the fortitude node no longer gives us 15 fortification. It now gives us our maximum fortification. So at a baseline, this is giving us 20% less damage taken. And then the unstoppable hero is giving us 3% more armor and evasion above 20 for every fortification above 20, and 3% increased attack speed for fortification above 20. It's super easy to get 26. So that's 18% more armor and evasion and 18% increased attack speed. And then the worthy foe is now going to have taunt on hit, and it no longer requires the conqueror. So it's going to be giving us enemies taunted by you take 20% increased damage. Enemies taunted by you cannot evade attacks, and the 100% chance to taunt on hit, right? So that node on its own is going to be making it so we don't have to care about accuracy. Looking at it overall, we have 18% more armor and evasion, 18% increased attack speed. Enemies taunted by you take 20% increased damage, and enemies taunted by you cannot evade attacks. Only other thing I have in here is I'm cheating my resistance right now. Obviously, I would have to balance this out for real in game, but for the aspect of POB right now and planning it, I just threw 100 all res on because I got tired of adding it to the gear and trying to like set it in a realistic modded tier, right? Because res capping is super easy nowadays, right? Getting full res cap is so much easier than it was in the past. So I just cheated that right there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the items actually. So we have a couple of uniques, but they're all super common unique, right? The princess is a super common unique. We're using it for the 28% of physical damage as extra cold. Emperor's Vigilance is rarer, but it is still fairly common. Even with a lot of people playing SST this league, I'm more than positive this isn't going to be over like a Divine, and a Divine would probably even be corrupted with a good implicit, right? Then we have Hymn Sorrow, which is, once again, fairly common item. And then we have Perseverance, once again, another fairly common item. But we're using the Hymn Sorrow to turn our physical damage into cold, make it scale a little bit easier and better. Then we're using Perseverance because since we're fortified, we get free onslaught from this. But on top of that, we get 1% attack speed. 1% attack speed, that'd be nice. 1% attack damage per 200 of the lowest armor or evasion. Armor and evasion. And we have 26k evasion and 32k armor, and that's just using a jade and a stibnite flask, right? Our evasion was significantly lower than our armor was coming up to be, so I just threw these on to try to boost it up, get us more damage out of it. Apart from that, the other gear that I'm using isn't anything special, right? It literally is items that just have evasion and armor on there, so I can boost them as high as I can, right? If some of them have spell suppression, I probably wouldn't even bother getting spell suppression on them because I'm nowhere near spell suppression capped. So I wouldn't even care about that. You would just care about life resistance and wed on rings and amulets, right? And then the boots would just be life, armor, evasion, resistance. And as you can see, some of these items are like 4 modded. Actually, I think majority of them are 4 modded. So I'd still be able to add additional modifiers on them to tweak things as I would like. The last item, which is incredibly important once you get your Emperor's Vigilance, Seething Fury, because this is going to be giving you a huge amount of damage. So this gives us 0.15 to offhand critical strike chance per 10 maximum energy shield on shield, and 4% crit multi per 10 maximum energy shield on shield. If you look, this is giving me pretty much 48% crit chance and 184% crit multi. This is 57% of my damage right here. This jewel is an insane boost. This is a must for the build. I didn't know how much of a must it was until I started playing around with it, but that's insane. Going over the skills, we have Spectral Shield Throw, Cold Penetration, Wed, Vicious Projectiles, Increased Critical Damage, and Inspiration. We have Hatred and Haste. We may not run one of these auras if we can get a mercenary that has either of these, and then we would throw on like Herald of Ice or Herald of Ash, or maybe both of them. That way we can get some good explosions going on. We have Assassin's Mark. We were trying Sniper's Mark, but Assassin's Mark is just 100% better because it helps us get to pretty much crit cap, right? We have a level 14 Precision because I was running low on mana, but I probably couldn't make that level 20. And then we have Blood Rage, cast with damage taken, Immortal Call. We should always have Frenzies and Endurance charges up. So we should always be getting a fairly decent Immortal Call, plus having the benefit of the Frenzies. Going over the tree itself, we get 65% spell block and 65% block from Versatile Combatant. We're actually overcapped in block by a decent bit, but I mean, I would need to play around with the tree a lot more to really see what I would change, right? So we have the 65% block, the 65% spell block. We would be res capped, and then we would have the 26k evasion and 32k armor while having 26 fortify stacks, right? So we should be decently tanky. Let's go over, I mean, for like, I guess tree progression, I would probably go over here relatively early. That way I'm able to go ahead and get the mana leech, right? We could drop these, honestly. They're really not doing anything for me, right? So we could drop that because I'm not taking the mastery. If anything, I would grab these and I would go 2% reduced duration of ailments per fortification, maybe, and then just get my other 50% somewhere else for the 50% reduced duration somewhere else, and we wouldn't have to worry about ailments at all. We could probably also, no, those are actually pretty decent. But yeah, so that's what our tree is looking like. We went over our skills. For items, we went over our items. Our config, we're going to have power charges from Assassin's Mark. We're going to have frenzy charges from the Mark Mastery. And we're going to have endurance charges from getting hit, right? Inexorable gives us endurance charges when we get hit. We're going to have Onslaught from Perseverance, and we're going to be fortified by our Ascendancy. We're going to have 26 stacks of fortification, and we have our flask active, right? Then over here, we have, is the enemy blinded? Most likely they're going to be blinded because we have a 20% chance. We have a 30% chance to blind, and we're attacking almost 4 times a second. So the enemy's going to be blinded, and that also makes us a little bit tankier, right? Because 20% accuracy loss. We get the 20% evasion. An enemy is taunted. We have a 100% chance to taunt, and between the shield going out and the projectiles, one of these is going to hit. I'm almost positive 100% of the time, even with naturally lower accuracy. So we should be fine there. And this is what's going to give us our 100% accuracy. Is the enemy chilled? I put yes for a 5% chill. And is the enemy exposed to cold? Yes. We have the cold exposure here, and we have the 5% chill, right? On items, the reason why I was messing around with the 5% chill was because of heat shiver. I was seeing how much of a difference this would be. And honestly, you can use a regular helmet and actually have more damage than using heat shiver. Heat shiver is only going to be more when you probably get like a 15% chill on bosses. And with only 2 million DPS, you're probably not. If some miracle happens and you freeze the boss, your damage will definitely go up as well. But I wanted something more realistic, so I threw just a normal rare helmet on. And it gives me more armor and evasion, right? So technically more damage. For our amulets, we're going to be anointing Heart of Ice because that's the only thing that made sense to me, right? So it is, I guess, an expensive anoint since it does cost a gold oil, and gold oils are probably going to be expensive early on. You don't really need it. I mean, if you want to have an anoint, you could probably go like Divine Judgment for fairly cheaply. What else could you probably go? I think that's really it. I mean, that's a golden. You can go Trickery, get extra damage and crit. You could go Forces of Nature as well. Like any of those would really work. But yeah, I found out that Heart of Ice looked like it worked the best for me. So, but then my other amulet that I have is a Pandemonious. I don't know how rare this is going to be, right? Because I remember they changed something about Breach. I don't remember if it was like drop rates or how rare the item was itself. But yeah, I have that on there because if I can, then it's going to be really nice and guarantees that they're chilled. It guarantees that they're blinded. It has 20% pin, and then I put Heart of Ice on it. So that would be the amulet I go like I'm endearing towards, right? By the end of like day 2, I would probably uh, let's say like day 3 or 4. I don't know how rare or how coveted a lot of this is going to be. So like by day 3 or day 4, I should be able to go ahead and kill majority of the bosses. Since it's only 2 million deeps, it's not that great, but I am banking on the fact that I'm going to have a mercenary and potentially an animated guardian as well, right? So the damage here will probably be higher than it is right now as well. Like if I can find a mercenary that has like determination and grace on it somehow, that would be a really, really, really good merc for me. But yeah, that's pretty much the character. I'll have the POB down in the description. I believe I covered everything important. We went over gear, we went over the config, we went over the tree skills. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just want to round the video out with this is not a build guide, but you can use it if you would like, if you kind of know what you're doing. I personally have not played SST, so this is kind of stuff that just came to mind, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date with this and future content. I'm going to be streaming League Start for probably 24 hours. I haven't fully decided. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Until next time, take care.